Welcome to Live Masters TV Showcase. I'm so super excited today. We have a special guest. Naomi Fox is here with us today, and
Hello.
she is a success astrologer. So I hear the notifications already coming on my phone, and
I love it.
we're gonna get some really cool insight today, right? So
Definitely.
let's do this first. I'm gonna go ahead and introduce you real quick, and then you can go in a little bit deeper, and then we'll start inviting some folks to come and take a look at what we're doing. Okay.
That sounds fantastic. Thank you
All
so
right.
much.
Cool. So this is another perfect example of why leveraging video is so amazing, because you meet the most amazing people in the world, and Naomi Fox is definitely one of those people that you all deserve to know about. You guys know that this is all about putting people in front of you deserve to meet. So I've gotten to know her. Geez, I think it's already been almost 2 years online. We've bouncing back and forth, following each other online, and she's worked on a really cool project that kind of piqued my interest. The reason why is because I'd never heard of it. Success astrologer. She digs deep into relationships based on your astrology. So that's kind of a little overview of her. I'm going to let her take it away and introduce herself a little bit more, and we'll get right into it.
Thank you so much, Mike. Yes, like you said, I'm Naomi Fox. I am a success astrologer, which means that I can help you to understand your own astrology in a way that will give you a stronger ability to have success in your life, whatever that looks like. I'm really passionate about people defining success for themselves. I think most people are running off of programs that they've been handed for what success is or looks like, a dollar amount or a relationship status or something like that. But getting really clear on what do you even want, and understanding yourself and delving into yourself can give you permission to lean into what it is that you want. And for me personally, I haven't found anything that is nearly as thorough for a self-exploration as astrology, which I wasn't raised with this. This is not something that I ever expected to have a passion for. I even have a divine affinity for astrology, so I'm able to understand myself and the world and help you understand yourself better through where the stars were the moment that you were born.
That is so cool. So can you go back a little bit, and you were touching on, like, you weren't raised like this, and that's one of the things I want to kind of get into, because of the misconceptions, right? About religion and beliefs and spirituality and woo woo, all this and all that. So
Absolutely.
What was it that you weren't raised like this? What was it that got you from that to where you are today, as far as believing what you're doing?
Yeah, I was raised in a conservative Christian home. I still belong to the same religion I did. I love it. God is the very center of my life, and I unapologetically talk about my great and powerful God and encourage other people to connect to whatever that looks like for them. And I think that we're seeing an awakening of spiritual gifts on the planet across the board. I think a lot of people are tuning into just things that they just know or that they just understand. And I've been on my own journey of understanding that as I've been through a healing process, and I've had my own ups and downs in life that led me to needing to understand myself better. And so I first got into astrology about 5.5 years ago. A girlfriend of mine introduced me to the gal who did her hair, and she was like, hey, this is my good friend Julie. She does my hair. Then I went and saw her to get my hair done, and she's there, cutting my hair. And she's like, oh, do you know the minute that you're born? And I was like, yeah, doesn't everybody? She's like, no. And so I knew. I had looked at my birth certificate when I was like 9, and I remembered, because that's me. And she runs my chart, and she's like, oh, your moon is in Virgo. That's how you know the minute that you're born. And I was like, okay. I knew I was a Sagittarius, but I didn't know anything about that. Then she proceeds to tell me all this really deeply personal stuff about myself, things that I've known people for 10 years that I don't tell them. And I felt very uncomfortable. I felt like stripped naked. And I was just like, you have to explain to me right now how you know all of that stuff. How can the moment that I entered the planet tell you all of this really personal stuff? She also had explanations for me about why it is that I kept choosing the men that I was dating, and why it is that I would get stuck or hung up on certain issues, why certain things became really easy for me and they just flowed to me naturally where other people struggled with them. She tells me all this right away. She's just cutting my hair. And she has a divine affinity for astrology too. So I would just go back to her. She'd do my nails and my hair, and we'd just chat it up about me, or I'd be dating somebody. I was just going through a divorce from, I was getting out of a violent marriage, and it was very traumatizing. So I was in all of the sludge of self-discovery and needing to heal. And so I'm dating this guy or that guy, and so I find out his birthday, and then I get brave and I find out their birth times as we move forward. So we'd run their charts, and she'd tell me like, oh yeah, this will go great, you know, you'll have a really good connection, great conversation, he'll be attracted to you, but you won't feel much of a spark towards him. Go out with him, that's what would happen. And then it would again and again, and she was always right on specific things. And so the more that I started to study astrology, it woke up this thing inside of me that I didn't even know was there. And I started helping others, just at first like her, just friends, and then started doing sessions and working with people, because I already had been helping people with sessions through business and business support and advice. I did branding and website design. And now I help people with what's called intuitive unpacking, where we look at what's going on. And I love doing it with the stars, because like, I was born when the sun was in Sagittarius, but if that was the only information I had about astrology, I'm not going to get very far. Understanding all my other placements, where the moon was, where Mercury, Venus, Mars, all of those things matter. And all of them have brought incredible depths into my life. So it is so fun for me to look at somebody. It's like looking into their soul. And I get a chance to just peek and say, oh, let me tell you why you are amazing in very specific detail. And let me tell you why you keep screwing this up. And let's fix that.
Wow, that's really...
Oh, I can't hear you all of a sudden.
Oops, there I go.
Oh, there we go. Yay.
There you go. It was my fault on my end. When did you actually start getting clients and making this a practice, where you started making programs, and maybe you could start talking about some of the new programs that you started working on?
Yeah, I've been seeing clients for about 2 years doing this, and it was earlier this year. I actually was having a conversation with my great and powerful God, and he was like, it's time for you to teach other people about astrology. And I was like, that's not where I saw my life going. I just thought I was having fun. And it was the first day of Aries, first day of spring, which is my favorite of all the New Years. You know, you got calendar New Year, Chinese New Year. My favorite is spring for a new year beginning, and launched a group called Success by the Stars. And so it's a group on Facebook. It's free. We have lots of good discussions in there. And I have some free courses that will teach you about how to understand your own astrology. Lots of visuals. I'm a very visual learner, and I'm a visual teacher. And so good conversations in there. And then also, I've been putting together programs. I did a program called Parenting by the Stars that teaches parents how to understand their children better through their astrology. Totally incredible support there. And this Saturday, I'm actually launching a live group coaching called Dating by the Stars. And I'm so excited for this one. I've worked with lots of clients one-on-one. I've done small groups. I've done live groups, just like one-time things. But being able to really delve in and look at astrology, like your core personality, also the things that relate to dating and fighting and war, because that, unfortunately, all's fair in love and war. We learn a lot about war through love sometimes, and sometimes we're stuck in war when we really need to be moving into love. And but then also some basic things about being kind and honest and direct with yourself, so that you can be kind and honest and direct with other people. I think a lot of people are misrepresenting themselves, not from a deceitful or manipulative standpoint in dating. They're genuinely trying to just show their best foot forward. They're trying to represent themselves the best. But if we can get really clear about who we are, who we're not, what we want, what we don't want, we can show up much more authentically in the dating scene and be able to have more powerful experiences and not get hurt so much ourselves and not hurt other people. And so I'm super excited about this course. I think it will be absolutely life-changing for people that jump in.
That's really cool. I have an interesting question for you.
Yeah.
What do you think the biggest difference between astrology and numerology is? Because there's so many parallels. Because
Yes.
you use numerology so much in your astrology with the dates and the times. How would you correlate the difference?
You know, I love all the different systems that are out there. I mean, numerology is based on, it's a fixed number. It's just fixed based on when you're born, like astrology is. There's a few other things that systems out there that purport the concept of you just are who you are, and then there's other ones that will say like you can adjust your personality, you can grow or change. I find all of them completely fascinating. The numerology can have a lot of depth because it talks about like your life purpose, like what your path is, what you're here to learn. I think it offers a lot of powerful information. But to me, it didn't have quite enough of the meat for me to sink into. And I get that for some people, they love the life path number, and that's awesome. And there is a lot there. I think it's all just what you're drawn to. And for me, astrology has that. I see astrology in 4-dimensional. You've got the actual sign that you are. Like, I'll just use me as an example again, being a Sagittarius. Sagittarius is just an energy, just like Aries is an energy and Taurus is an energy. If you imagine it's like flowing, and the sun was in Sagittarius when I was born. So the second dimension of astrology, the way I see it is it filters through. So the energy of Sagittarius filters through what the sun sign has to teach us, which is how you lead. And it's the core of your personality. It's the majority of what people are going to encounter when they're interacting with you. But the moon, wherever the moon was the minute you were born, that changes about every 2.5 days. And that is your private self. It's how you are when no one else is around. And it's also how your emotions filter through. So if you want to know how you handle emotional situations, look at your moon sign. And so my moon is in Virgo. And so you take the energy of Virgo, which is precise and exact and black and white and really high standards. And that is how I process emotions, which means I'm very analytical about all things emotional, which is why I feel so compelled to teach people about really complex emotional concepts in a really practical way that has a system that allows them to move forward. And then you also have the aspects of the planets to each other, the relationship that they have within themselves, and then the houses. And those are more in depth, but in the classes, I can kind of hold your hand and walk you through that so that you can use this information and really be able to have a more powerful, in-depth self-exploration.
So there's something about people going crazy during a full moon that's real.
Yes, full moons are interesting because the reason, like the moon is full because the moon is on the opposite side of the earth and the sun is fully shining on the moon, right? That's just basic physics, astronomy. And so what that means is if the sun is here and the moon is here, like we just had a full moon last week, the sun was in the sign of Libra. We're in Libra season right now. The moon was in the opposite in Aries. So we had a full moon in Aries. So what that does is it creates this stretch energy that's really, really intense. And it makes people crazy because your emotional self, your private self is fully illuminated, which is what the full moon is about. There's all this light there. And like on a new moon, we kind of go away for a minute. We retreat into ourselves. The moon disappears for, a certain period of time and it doesn't go anywhere. We know that it's still the same size, no matter where it's in the sky. But the perception, the flow and the ebb of being able to have that emotional experience, which is very steady, but it's also ever changing. It offers us that chance to, sometimes we want to be outward and external and we want to share and we want to be big, and sometimes we need to retreat, and some of us have these more pronounced than others. But the moon and where the moon is at any given point can be helpful. Like right now the moon is in Gemini, and so it's in a lovely trine with the sun and in Libra, both air signs. And a Gemini moon means we probably want to be more talkative about our emotions. We need to have somebody to chat with about the things that are bothering us and kind of open up and have that opportunity. And some people will feel that much more predominantly than others.
So what do you think of people like using astrology and everything to try to foresee or predict the future? Like, what do you think about all that?
That is a common thing. It's kind of like telling the weather. If you could look at the weather and be like, okay, I'm going to go on a picnic this weekend, but it looks like it's going to be raining. You can't predict how your picnic is going to go from many standpoints, but if it looks like it's going to downpour, maybe don't plan a picnic for 500 people outside. And so you can kind of have a heads up about certain things, but it isn't something that is going to tell you specifics. It's not like this is the moment that you're going to find love. Some people will say that it does. Some astrologers make a lot of money off of saying that. I see it more as I am in charge of my destiny. I hold the power. But I also believe that when I was coming to Earth, that I chose to be born at the time that I was born and the day that I was born and the location on earth that I was born. And so at that time, all of these specific energies were fusing with the earth, kind of crossing through. And I wanted to, my higher self, my intelligence that goes beyond this physical form, wanted to show up on the planet just this way. And that's why I chose to be born when I was. And so it's not that, oh, well, here's your deck of cards. This is what you get for this life because you were born at this time and this day. I see it more that I chose that. And the more that I get to know myself, the more I absolutely love it. Things about myself that I used to hate or try to hide, or I felt really embarrassed about or ashamed, or I didn't know that I could lean into, now I celebrate because I have actual explanations for why this is so magnificent, why this is unique, why this is common. And it's really fun to see that in other people, or highlight other people and show them the same of why they are amazing.
Yeah, that's really cool. There's a really cool question here from Farhad. He says, does the alignment of the stars have any correlation with your intuition?
Yes, absolutely. You can see in astrology, if you ever run an actual astrology chart, I'm a fan of astro-charts.com. It's just a free website. You don't have to create an account. And but you can find them if you just Google free birth chart or free natal chart. You can find tons of sites that'll do it for you. You'll see 12 sections in it looks like, you know, a whole bunch of symbology. All of a sudden you're like, I don't even know what I'm looking at, but there's 12 sections of a pie. And the 12th house is ruled by Pisces, and Pisces is very intuitive. It's very, it's almost psychic. And so if you have a lot of Pisces placements or a lot of 12th house placements, your intuition is probably going to be significantly higher. Sagittarius and the 9th house is pretty intuitive. Scorpio, or the 8th house, has quite a lot of that just knowing, that beneath the surface understanding. It's different flavors of intuition, for sure.
Yeah, this is really, honestly, it's pretty cool because I don't really understand any of it.
It's a whole other language. It's overwhelming.
Yeah, it is. It is like another language, but I do understand the intuition, and you know, it's like where your thoughts come from, right? Like there's just there's so much deeper things, and you know, when you say things that correlate to certain personality traits based on what's known, people are born certain dates. I guess that how they figure. Okay, if you're born on this date, this time, you have these certain types of personality traits because the stars align and the moons align at this certain time, this certain way. Is that how you figure it all out?
Yes, and it's not even as much as personality traits. It's more like you have the energy of that. And so everything has a light and a shadow. Like, looking at my chart, I could see how I could be like a terrible, heinous person. Like, if I leaned into the shadow of all of my placements, I could definitely see how Sagittarius is. When they're healthy and happy, they bring the energy up. Everybody needs a happy Sag in their life. I say all the time, they're the party, they're philosophical. They want to talk about ideas. They want to travel. They want to go. They want to play. In the shadow, Sagittarius, they can be horrible. They say mean, cutting, hurtful things. When they get over stuff, they just boom, they're out, they're gone. They've cut ties. They don't even think about it again. They can pivot really well because we bounce. Sagittariuses can bounce, which is the buoyancy and the optimism that comes with the energy of Sag. But obviously, if it's toxic, I mean, I've talked to people that are like, oh, I dated a Sag once and they just like obliterated me. It's like, you dated the wrong kind of Sag.
Yeah, so so you could be a certain sign and still be okay, but it depends on other factors, right? Because
absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Any person with any chart can be absolutely lovely, or the kind of person that you would do everything in your power to avoid. I've seen all kinds of kinds. There's definitely, I have preferences in friendships and in dating and all of that. I definitely have my preferences, things that I'm just like, yeah, that just consistently doesn't work for me in certain compatibilities, but it doesn't mean that that person is bad or that nobody should ever talk to them. It's just a matter of like, how well does the energy sync up?
Yeah. I'm a Libra. So, I mean, I know one other person that was personally born on my same birthday.
And same year and everything.
Yeah, same year, same everything, and we connect like crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just always want things to be fair for people. I don't know if it has anything to do with the scales or what.
That's exactly. Libra is all about fairness. It's like, is this fair for me? Is it fair for them? They're the judge. They're constantly looking at that from a fairly non-emotional standpoint. If there's emotion involved, it's probably that you're trying to avoid people being angry. You just don't like it when people are mad. Nobody does, but Libras especially go pretty far out of their way to avoid gigantic amounts of conflict.
Oh yeah, I'm so anti-conflict. Well, I'm just
peace at all costs is the war cry of Libra energy.
Well, you just basically, speak the truth from the beginning, and you don't have anything to worry about if you really speak your truth.
So. Amen. Absolutely. I call myself a truth teller, and it starts with telling the truth to ourselves. And I think that's the challenge of Libra energy, is that you get the benefit. Libras are so lovely. You're charming, you're connecting. Libra rules Venus. And so you have that aspect of just like that connection and that loveliness and beauty. But if you haven't learned the lesson of being really honest with yourself, it's really easy for you to find that you're not being honest with other people, not from a point of like, oh, I want to deceive or manipulate, but from a like white lie, like, oh, we're just going to sweep it under the rug. We're going to ignore this. And so somebody could be a Libra and have this, somebody could have a Libra moon and they don't know it. And they're constantly going out of their way to avoid conflict, but they're like, I don't know, I'm a Taurus. Like, I guess I'm resonating with that. You could have a Libra Mercury and that would totally play into it. And so all of these little intricacies are so fascinating. I have 4 placements of Libra in my chart. I have more Libra actual placements than anything else. And so I really resonate with the, like, I need to be really clear so that I don't go to war with myself to make the peace outside of myself, which I definitely did for a long time. And a lot of people of my generation have that because my Libra planets, or a lot of them are generational planets that take years and years and years to pass through a particular sign.
Yeah, I'm just super anti-confrontational, and like Heather says, she's a Libra too, super communicator. She doesn't avoid conflict.
Yes.
Let you know where he lands.
Yes. Yeah, I would love to know your chart, Heather. Like, I get so curious. I'm like, where's her Mercury and her Mars? Because that's communication and then war. And it's like, some people, they're like, bring it on. Like, we'll just deal with it so we can move on and have a better day. And some people are like, nope, we're not having conflict.
I think for me, if I'm solid in what I believe in and I have my beliefs, then I can show up confidently and not have to have conflict. I don't have to, for sure. I don't have to protect my ego in the moment, right?
Libra energy in its higher expression is an amazing peacemaker, because when you come with that confidence, like you were saying, like the honesty, like your confidence in your integrity, your confidence in yourself, your confidence in your God, or your confidence in the situation, you can come to it with so much balance, because you're going to be very far out of ego, because you're looking at it from a headspace of the air signs are very non-ego driven for the most part. I've met plenty of egotistical air signs, but overall you do better at that of like, okay, let's look at this from a level-headed perspective, and you don't let your emotions sink into it. They're going to drag you around as much. And so, yeah, Libras are fantastic. If you have conflict, you get a healthy, balanced Libra involved, and all of a sudden everybody wins. It's incredible.
Yeah, I don't know. There's always a perception of peace. I think that if you stop and look, you can find it. That's my take. You know? For sure, I could definitely get behind this. Yeah, there's a lot of people that have been watching the broadcast. You're definitely going to have to go back through the comments and connect with people.
Yeah, I see some of them popping up here. But yeah, Heather is saying she doesn't seek it out, but she's not afraid of it either. I've learned that. I used to be afraid of conflict, but now if it comes up, I deal with it. If it doesn't, that's fine too.
Yeah, and I think a lot of dealing with conflict is in confidence in yourself. Like I was mentioning, that's really the core of it, because like if I totally adopted this, would I rather be happy or would I rather be right? Yeah, I want to be happy, so I don't care. I'll let you, even if I don't agree with it, you know.
You say 2 + 2 = 5, okay.
Right, exactly. And so I don't have to. What I'm saying is I don't have to feel like I have to prove a point to someone. You know, to get my point across, right? And there definitely has to be a point, especially in the society that we're living in today, where we definitely have to agree to disagree on many things, right?
Yes, for sure. Because there's so many ways to look at it. And I love the diversity. It's like a science. It's a science of being able to see the differences in people, and I can drill right down, and I can tell people exactly. One of my favorite things to do is to take married couples that either are struggling or are perfectly happy. Either way is fine. It's almost more amusing with the ones that are pretty happy, and look at them, and I can quickly tell them if I can look at both of their charts. Like, ooh, I bet this part is really easy, or oh wow, I bet this is consistently an issue, or does she always do this and he always, and they'll just look at each other, or they'll get the elbows back and forth, like, did you hear that? And it's because being with one person, exclusively is so fascinating from an emotional standpoint, from a relationship standpoint, and so being able to unpack that when people have been together for years, and just being able to also put the power in people's hands when they're single, to be like, okay, no more Venus in Aquarius, like we're not doing that anymore. Like that type of a thing can really empower a person. And you're welcome to keep trying to date those people, but there's a really good chance that there's placements that are just consistently going to be really incompatible with a particular person. And you don't have to keep doing that anymore.
Well, that's cool. Well, you're identifying patterns for people and making them aware, right? Because they're like, oh yeah, duh. Like, oh yeah, duh. Like you said, duh.
Yeah.
I mean, because we get so involved, right, in the day-to-day that we're subconsciously we're just not even really realizing what we're doing, right? So
most people just need permission to be who they really are. That's what I've learned. They either don't really know, or they kind of know, but they don't know that they can lean in and just be exactly who they are. And so they spend all this time trying to be what they think that they should be. And when you drop that, it's like freedom. It's like breathing air for the first time. Mm-hmm. And just move forward in that and just be who you are blessed to be.
Yeah, absolutely. Like Rick says, love your passion. And he's thanking you for sharing your positive energy.
You're very welcome, Rick.
Yeah, you've been amazing on this this interview and the live video. It was really fun having you here.
Definitely.
Like I said, I really just want to bring on anybody that I feel everybody deserves to know about. Like at the beginning, I said you are definitely one of them. And go back definitely through the comments and put your information there. You guys see her website down at the bottom. You can definitely connect with her. Is there another way besides your website that you want people to reach out to you, connect with you?
I love the website. You'll be able to learn more about what it is that I do. There's links there to the Facebook group, Success by the Stars. You can also, I'm doing that live coaching dating group that has like a definitive time to sign up. If you click on the menu, it says Dating by the Stars, or you can go to naomifox.com/dating to learn about that live group. It includes some sessions as bonuses. If you sign up for that class, you also get sessions with me because I really want to help you guys be super successful. You can also connect with me on Facebook and Instagram, Naomi Fox. The handle is the Naomi Fox, and just would love to connect with you there and be able to have you join the community of all of these awake, like-minded people that believe in themselves and believe in God and just want to help each other on the planet with more information and light and truth.
Yeah, awesome. You're incredible. You're awesome. And also, if anybody that's just catching this for the first time, we are running a free live video challenge in our community, Live Masters. Make sure to check it out. And then I know, Naima, you're going to send some of your clients and anybody that's interested in getting more confident and doing videos.
For sure.
Because you work with a lot of
professionals,
business professionals as well.
Yes.
And see how impactful this is being on video. I just want everybody that's watching this to take note. Look at how impactful Naomi was on this video and how she was able to really communicate with you guys about what she does by telling simple stories and sharing examples of how she's helped other people. So it was a pleasure to have you. And I look forward to some of the other resources that you're going to be providing myself and other people that are interested in getting to know you better.
Thank you so much, Mike. This was really great to be able to have this opportunity to be able to reach more people. And you're just fantastic. You make this so easy and you're just super wonderful.
I thank you. I appreciate it. Well, none of it would be possible without you and everybody else that's watching. So thanks again for everybody that's watching. And we'll talk to you guys later. We'll see you on the next